environment that they feel safe in. 6. A twisted backstory so that something will eventually trigger a massacre. 7. The excitement comes from how the next victim will die, so killings must be creative and torturous. And 8. There must be a build-up to the horror activity. Even though by 1981 slasher films were at an all-time high in production, critics still considered them one step above pornography. Siskel and Ebert dedicated an entire show to how these films were exploitive of women in danger. The future slasher genre was in jeopardy because of the numerous lawsuits a movie Silent Night, Deadly Night had incurred due to its use of Santa Claus as an axe murderer. America was getting bored and needed a more sophisticated killer.
This guy, he's after us in our dreams.
Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street was inspired by 3 newspaper clippings about several Laotian men who had died during an apparent nightmare. Freddy Krueger was to be the reason for the 7 sequels following. Suddenly, after the success of Nightmare on Elm Street, the bad guy was marketable, and the public became inundated with TV show takeoffs, costumes for children, and toys. Most of all, there were just too many sequels, and moviegoers became burnt out.
For almost 7 years, the genre lied seemingly dead. But by mid-90s, a new generation of audiences were ready to breathe life into the beast.
In 1991, Silence of the Lambs won Best Picture. This sparked a slasher genre renaissance. Scream served as the perfect crutch for the genre to use to regain its footing because it acknowledged everything you always made fun of, yet still required from a slasher film.
With Scream.
Hello?
That idea of lifting a movie's plot out of the sort of formulaic and making it about the new reality, in a sense, was that every kid was media savvy and every kid knew all about horror films. So if you try to make a horror film where somebody says, I don't know what that sound was, but I'll go investigate, if somebody in the room doesn't say, well, that's from Halloween or whatever, then it becomes false.
Who's there? I'm calling the police.
You should never say who's there. Don't you watch scary movies? It's a death wish. You might as well just come out here to investigate a strange noise or something.
He took...
Sex equals death, okay? Number 2, you can never drink or do drugs. No, the sin factor. It's a sin. It's an extension of number 1. And number 3, never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back.
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life for one last scare.
Not in my movie.
A lot of people's first movie is a horror movie. I think they always make money, or they're always, that's the choice they make.
I was cast.
Scream may have been the first slasher film to have instantly recognizable stars such as Drew Barrymore, Neve Campbell, and Courtney Cox, but that does not mean that they were the first stars to be in a slasher movie. The Medium's Patricia Arquette was in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. A young Corey Feldman was in Friday the 13th, Part 5. Jamie Lee Curtis, Halloween. Johnny Depp, A Nightmare on Elm Street. George Clooney, Return to Horror High. Holly Hunter, The Burning. Seinfeld's Jason Alexander was also in The Burning. Kevin Bacon, Friday the 13th. Leslie Nielsen, Prom Night. Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey both starred in Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Jack Nicholson got his start in the movie The Terror. Paris Hilton, 9 Lives. Rainn Wilson from The Office also was in House of a Thousand Corpses. Before Tom Hanks was in Bosom Buddies, he was also in He Knows You're Alone. John Travolta, Devil's Reign, and Vanna White from the TV game show Wheel of Fortune got her start in the movie Graduation Day.
Slasher genre will never go anywhere. I get asked that question all the time. The answer to that question is, are there teenagers today? Will there be teenagers tomorrow? Will there be teenagers 5 years from now? If the answer is yes, slasher movies aren't going anywhere.